Hey guys, it's Katelyn. I am on my way back to Thrival, the Innovation Fest in Pittsburgh, so I don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to share a big takeaway I had yesterday with you before I forgot while it was fresh on my mind. And if you're not familiar with what Thrival is, it is an innovation and music fest. It takes place once a year in Pittsburgh. It's just incredible. I've been posting a ton of stuff on my Facebook and on YouTube. So go to my Facebook or go to YouTube. You can just search Katelyn Lesk and YouTube and Google to get to my YouTube channel. And you can find all my video recaps from the day. So the first message I wanted to give you, there's two parts. One is a big takeaway I had yesterday from somebody I met, and the other is why it's so important to go to networking events like this. So why I titled this, why you don't always need to be consistent, is that is such a big thing that we talk about in Beachbody is consistency. And it's always such a big take-home message that we just drill into coaches. But what an interesting point that a new friend of mine brought up yesterday, his name's Aaron Watson. He has a podcast called Going Deep with Aaron Watson. The podcast itself is incredible. But he impressed me so much. He's so knowledgeable. He's been podcasting for a little over a year and a half, and he's already put out 150 podcasts. So he's just a go-getter. Hi, Seth. Thanks for jumping on. He's so motivating. His dynamic, his personality is amazing, but he's also incredibly analytical. And yet he pairs that with this great understanding of people, just a combination that really impressed me. So one of the things he said about podcasting, and this doesn't just go for podcasts, this easily applies to our business and to any other business that somebody might be trying to build. So as coaches, like I said, we always hear be consistent. His point was that consistency is only one of three factors that will influence your reach and influence your credibility. So the first was consistency. The second was frequency. So not just posting on a consistent basis, but how frequent you're posting. Hi, Kim. Thanks for jumping on. So consistency, frequency, and then something to establish a little bit of credibility or authority. So for example, he was talking on a podcast in relation to if he gets a big name person on his show to interview, that helps increase his credibility and authority that is perceived by his audience. So what his point was, the consistency is one of the factors that matters at first a lot. Once you've established yourself, it matters less and less because frequency and this authority matter more. So for example, a lot of us watch Chalene Johnson, and I don't know if Chalene necessarily puts out a new video or a new Facebook Live or a new YouTube video or a new podcast every Thursday. She might, I don't know, but it's not so much to me about knowing exactly what day she's going to put her stuff out, because I know she has good content and authority, and so anytime she puts something up, I'm going to watch it. So it's not so much about her being consistent, even though it does sort of translate to consistency, but it's more about just the frequency of she's putting stuff up, but also knowing that when she puts something up, it's going to have a lot of bang for the buck in terms of the time I'm going to invest to watch it. So as long as you're putting out really good content, and you're starting to create that credibility, whether it's by having high profile guests on a podcast or for us, just putting out really good content as coaches. So, it's fine, normal day to day to just post stuff here and there about what we're doing, new things coming out, but make sure you're also spending time to put in really good messages about your story and your mission and that kind of thing that's really going to generate value. That is so much more important. So the consistency matters at first. When you haven't really formulated your message, it's important to be putting stuff out daily or on a consistent basis. So that's when consistency matters most. But once you start to develop your message, the factor of influence shifts more towards still like that credibility you've gained. So he made a really interesting point that consistency helps you at first, but in the long run, it's going to be the other things that really build you. Because if you're still if you could have all the consistency in the world, you could be putting out a new video every single day, but if it's not good content and you haven't established credibility, if it's just the same, like, here's my shake, here's my workout, you're not really going to build an audience or generate any kind of influence the way you would if you're really packing the punch with content content and focusing on the other factors that are going to influence your long-term reach, your long-term credibility, and your influence over your audience, and wanting to inspire people. So I just thought that was such an interesting point. I've never had somebody articulate it in that way, because we are always just taught consistency, and that is really important at first, but if you're not focusing on those other factors, then it's not going to get you anywhere. So my second part of my message was that, to me, is why it's so important to go to events like that. So it's a really cool event in Pittsburgh. If you're in Pittsburgh, I highly recommend you check it out. It is, it's going on today and tomorrow still. It's all free. There's a few small fees for some of the evening keynotes, but go to thrivalfestival.com and check it out. But even if you're not in Pittsburgh, or you're not available today or tomorrow for these kind of events, find something like this locally that you can connect with. So I also am involved with an organization called L3 Leadership, and that, again, same thing, has opened the doors to meet so many people that are going to bring a new perspective in like that. So to me, when stuff like this comes up, festivals like this come up, like, I don't get much sleep, because I'm just trying to take advantage of as much as I can. Like, why wouldn't you want to be involved with that? It's so important to get to know local leaders, local business people, not just for like, oh, it's great to network, but to bring those kind of fresh perspectives. And I think what's so unique about any kind of startup or entrepreneurial community, I can definitely say this for Pittsburgh, but I think it's pretty much the same in every city. People know how hard it is. So just like us as coaches, and we know how hard it can be in a mental way, like your mental game, to stay in it with the coaching and not get discouraged. People in any kind of business or startup world know the exact same thing. It can be really tough and really, really challenging. So if we don't stick together, you're not going anywhere. Most entrepreneurs, or at least all the successful ones, are going to believe in the abundance mindset, to know that all ships rise with the tide, meaning that if we help each other, we all get further. So what I've noticed in going to like L3 leadership events and Thrival Innovation talks is that people are just so willing to pour into you and to help you out and to step up and tell you what they know and tell you what's taken them years to learn the hard way and give you those shortcuts. So to me, going to a conference like this, it doesn't matter so much what the content of the talks are. So the podcast talk yesterday, I went just because I was interested in hearing what they had to say. I've never really considered doing a podcast. I kind of did after hearing it yesterday. But to me, it's more about the people I'm going to meet and the relationships I'm going to build. So I throw myself into events like this and just try to meet and connect with as many people as I can, because that is gold to me, not just in this business, but whatever you want to do in life. These are the people that are going to bring opportunities to you. It's those kind of connections. It's not just about building your Beachbody business or building whatever you're working on now. It's the long-term opportunities and knowing that you have the support and other people with skills that you might not have. So for example, if I do ever want to start a podcast, I have 3 people that I know are going to be amazing resources to help me get started. So it's that kind of thing that is so important to go to networking events like this. Again, it's not just about networking or trying to get your name out. It's about, what can I do for these people to build relationships? How can I share what they're doing? Like, I am so excited to share about Aaron Watson's podcast because I think it's amazing content. So I naturally want to help him out, and that's the kind of stuff that's going to build relationships where if I ever need to ask him for questions, he's going to be willing to help me. So those are the reasons it is so important to get events like this. Again, why not? You have nothing to lose. The most that's ever happened when I've put myself out there and gone to an event like this is maybe it was less eventful, or maybe I didn't try as hard to reach out to new people, but I always still get something out of it. There's always nuggets I take away. And more often than not, they are amazing events where I connect with so many new people. That was how I got involved with the leadership organization. Some of my best friends have come out of that. So just really putting yourself out there and being not afraid to take risks like that and to really get involved with what your local community has to offer, I think is like not only the lifeblood of my business and what could be for your business, but also of life. Like, this to me is the most enriching thing, to connect with like-minded people that want to cheer me on and are doing amazing, innovative things right here in my city. So that was a long-winded answer, and I have to get to the talk. So anyways, thanks for watching. And if you guys have any questions about the event or anything that I said today in this talk, feel free to message me, and I hope you guys have a great day.